Hey there guys, we're taking a look at GreedFall running on the i5-1135G7. Now the game is currently running at 1080p with the lowest possible settings. Now even the lowest preset actually doesn't set everything to the lowest, so you would have to manually set certain things to the lowest. So pretty much what I just did is I went through and I disabled everything that I possibly could, and the performance is not great. It's relatively consistent though, in the sense that the 1% lows don't deviate that much from the 30 FPS average, but it definitely is not a great feeling experience. And a lot of the times when you're loading into new areas, that's usually where the big dips end up coming in, and it can cause some issues. Overall though, it was very playable, like more playable than I was expecting it to be. Now I'm not really used to playing games at this low FPS anymore. That's usually more what I did when I was younger and I didn't have access to better computers, but playing through this, I didn't really feel like this was such a horrible experience. It definitely didn't feel super smooth, but it felt consistent. I felt like as long as I got used to the FPS, to be able to do the timings for the parries and stuff like that perfectly fine. But it definitely took a little bit of getting used to, and also the 1% lows aren't exactly the smoothest, because you do see they kind of fluctuate all over the place like that. That's letting you know that there is some inconsistency in the performance that's going on there. Really though, it was when I dropped things down to 720p that I actually started to feel more comfortable. It wasn't perfect though. The 1% lows were still kind of low, but I think it was a bit misleading because there was mostly just one big spike at the beginning of this fight, and then it kind of just leveled out throughout all of it. You just see the frame times themselves are very smooth, and that pretty much is just telling you that for the most part, the 1% lows are going to be great throughout all of this. Really, you only see those frame time spikes when those 1% lows are actually going crazy. But personally, I would play this at 720p and just have the most smooth, consistent experience possible, because at 1080p, even at the lowest settings, even though you're getting close to a 30 FPS average, the fact that the frame times kind of start to jump around pretty noticeably in a lot of scenes really just makes the experience not that enjoyable. With that said though, I feel like this game sacrifices a lot visually to be able to get this level of performance, and I just don't think I'm going to continue to play this on this system, because you're sacrificing a lot visually here, and it is a single player RPG, and I know gameplay is kind of like the most important thing, but these are a lot of visual sacrifices you have to make, and I feel like you can just play, older RPGs that actually run perfectly fine on this system without having to sacrifice every visual aspect of the game to get a somewhat passable level of performance. But if you don't mind playing at these levels of visuals, you can play the game perfectly fine like this. So it's one of those things where it's a toss-up. I don't really consider it a win just because you have to sacrifice so much visually, but this might be perfectly fine for you, and if that's the case, well, fantastic. I really was enjoying what I played of this game, but it was the fact that I was enjoying it so much that made me feel like I don't think I want to continue to play it on this system. I'd rather wait until I can play it on an actually good system, which is just my desktop. But if this was just the only laptop that I had, I would just wait. I wouldn't really play through this. I'm very patient when it comes to single player games, so I can usually wait a couple of years to actually get around to playing them. But anyways, I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.